Jen and I were introduced to each other, and then you sort of have a range of projects that you're either thinking of in your own mind, or that are that are available to be adapted, I guess. And so just going through it, I remember having seen Frequency in 2000, right? That's when it came out. And for me, it was just that central relationship. It was the father-son relationship that really, I remember from seeing the movie the very first time. The pure emotionality of it really got me, and of course I loved the genre element, and I thought that it would be tricky, but it could make a really, really interesting and dynamic show. So that's what happened.
Did you change the son to a daughter?
Right.
Or just to make it different from the movie, or to have that female presence in the lead?
I wish it were as simple as that. We actually did one version of this where it was a father-son, and when we went to the CW, he said, "Is there anything you would change?" And I said, having done one version of this, I would want to change to a father-daughter, because to me that was the biggest challenge as a writer, and I felt it offered the most dynamic relationship possible. I think, I'm not speaking in tongues here, but I think everyone has this idea of daddy's little girl, sort of cliche, you know what I mean? And what I love about the show is that if you've seen the pilot, you can see she's anything but. And the idea that she's the same age as her dad, and add the real dynamism. We'll go with it. We're there. I've already said it.
New word.
But
is a word.
what? Yeah, it's there. We're doing it. And so for me, it was very exciting to do that. Basically.
How about the concept, though, taking it, turning it into a TV show? What was the thinking behind changing it, like, butterfly effects, things like that?
Right.
So what went into all that? And sort of, I'm just trying to get a sense of where, besides them communicating through time,
right,
what else went into the thinking of how you're going to turn this into a TV show?
Well, okay, so on the one hand, you have a family drama that, and if you've seen the pilot and you've seen the movie, you understand that the TV show characters are actually different than their movie characters. In the most basic sense, you have the father character isn't quite as straight-laced and choir boy as he is in the movie. There's a lot of mystery to this guy. And then in what was the son character and Raimi's character, she doesn't quite worship her father in the same way that the son did in the movie. She stands on her own 2 feet, basically. So this is an ever-changing family dynamic. So right there, to me, that was a wonderful thing to explore week to week. These two, because of the circumstances at the end of the pilot, being forced to work with one another in what would ordinarily be sort of a wish fulfillment scenario. It's like you just reconnected and saved the life of your father, but there's a lot of crap they still got to work out with each other. So there's a lot of, I like that. It doesn't immediately turn into a buddy cop show where we're best buddies solving crime. There's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of residue of a lot of things. On the other hand, you have a mystery that's set off at the end of the pilot, and that lends itself to a certain ticking clock and tautness to the first season, and then you have the genre element, which allows us to spin things out, taking two ordinary characters who are sort of thinking they're on a detective's journey and being confronted with something that neither has any experience with, which everyone at this table does, which is genre. You know what I mean? It's hitting them in the face when they least expect it, and they have no idea what to do with it. You know what I mean? And I think that it's a very blue-collar approach to genre and family and crime that so far has been pretty exciting in the writers' room. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think Jeremy said it. I think ultimately it's a wish fulfillment story, and I think everybody thinks about second chances. I think a lot of people, when you're watching television shows, think about that. And I think it's something that's incredibly relatable each week. I think that's what we're doing. And we have this big buy, but at the end of the day, it's about what if I got a second chance to do it over again.
Based on
mapped out like multiple seasons, or at least maybe a thought in your head on how you would approach this story going on if you went beyond season?
Yeah, we've mapped out season 1. We have that departure point jumping into what could be the focus of season 2, and then we have the kernel of what could be a season 3. So we have, that stuff can always change and always, but in terms of being up there and seeing it, we've got 3 seasons at the least that we can see out there. You know what I mean? But it's a tricky show to do. I'm not going to lie about that. It's tricky with all the rules and everything, but I think it's extra tricky because we're trying to keep the rules out of view. I think some shows can get overwhelmed by the rules, and I just want people to be along with the characters and the ride and just trust that the rules are there, just you don't need to have one slapping you in the face at every turn.
Is the show going to take place in just a short period of time, in terms of keeping in contact with the past, or is it going to be? Is she going to be in contact with the past for weeks or months or a year?
Well, there's a relatively short time frame set up in terms of when they have to have this mystery solved. So we can expect much of the first season will revolve around that time context. That said, because of memories and all that, we will be visiting these two at different periods of time in their lives. So just for a little extra added layer of delight.